quick, let's go down the list. This is an official Freemasonry website, Masonry 101. And there's a little watercolor painting posted here. They have a brief little article here on the red lodges versus the blue lodges. I've seen a lot of pictures of the insides of the Freemasonry lodges. This painting, watercolor painting, looks to be pretty accurate. There's typically a black and white checkerboard, small floor inlaid into a red carpeted floor with bluish walls, quite often in a whitish ceiling. Everything you see here in this room has some meaning. It's symbolic of something else, of many things. Has layered meanings. And a lot of it is very important to their rituals. So there's one example of blue or red. All right, I'm trying to keep this brief. This is just a quick list of some famous Freemasons. But again, there's lots of sites and ways that you can find other famous Freemasons besides just this brief list. Here's one example I wanted to show you of how it can be in the background. The blue over the red, it could be part of the props in the photo or in the painting. So here we have a blue background that's sort of surrounding the this like red awning. And he has this sort of blackish blue, bluish black, blue tone black suit. Sort of like, you could say sort of within you might be able to make the argument that it's white within black, within red, within blue. But there we go. There's one example. He was a harder one to find, James Monroe. Some of these you can find lots of examples of red and blue together, and specifically blue over red. James Monroe was one of the harder ones. Here's Tiger Woods. He's a Freemason. Blue over red, or red within blue. You'll also notice a trend of blue, white, red, and yellow or gold. And the yellow and gold are interchangeable, and then blue and black, and several different shades of blue. Blue and black are quite often interchangeable because that's their night sky. And these are primary colors: red, blue, yellow, and then you have the black and the white. In many ways, this will cross over into how they like to identify as vampires, because that is also the palette for vampires, if you think about it. Most depictions of vampires, that the color palette is black, white, red, and yellow or gold. So here we have Albert Pike. This is an example of the red within the blue. You could even say also, so some of these you might also remark look a bit more pink and maybe grayish. That is also significant. Pink Floyd. Floyd means gray or gray-haired, like an old man. And pink is typically the color of girls and youth, children, extreme opposites. So you will see red and blue. You will see sometimes red and green. Those two are opposites on the color wheel. You will see pink and gray, like a blue slate gray sometimes, bluish, more a dark gray or dark black with a more blue tone to it, and pink or sometimes red along with the dark gray. So Albert Pike, Freemason. These are all listed as Freemasons, officially as Freemasons. Here's a nice blue over red example. Andrew Jackson. John Wayne, Freemason. Blue over red. He has a lot of red over blue too, though. But still, again, the color combination alone of red and blue together, not typical. It's just not typical to be worn in the general population. Goeth. He's going to be a name that pops up pretty frequently in coming videos. He factors into this significantly. I believe he's the one who wrote Faust, and he also wrote significantly on color theory. And you can pull up, look up his name and pull up color wheels that he worked on and things he wrote about color and light. He was sort of his own student, an unofficial student of color and light and how they worked. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. His family was also friends with the family of one of my suspects, a couple of my suspects on my list. So that is significant, and it does seem that the color coding that these people use is based off of Goethe's writings about colors and about light. So he does, and he's also listed as very likely having been. He's literally listed on websites as very likely having been a child predator, a pedophile. We see here the blue of the background, but also this blue-gray, slate-gray hat, bluish gray hat, and then you have the red shirt. You can see some of the cuff of it around the neck and also around the hand there, the wrist, hidden under a white smock. Really like a mother of pearl off-white smock, and then there's a bright white frock. That's his under the most nether layer, I guess is what you would call it. So yes, Goethe factors into this a lot. So his name will be popping up more. Here's another painting. Goethe. And you have that blue, that sort of a gray steel. It may be almost a periwinkle blue, but not quite. There's not enough like that purple in it. And then you have that. It's roughly a circular shape, but it's that red, that flare of red. And you could make the argument that it looks sort of either like a little rose because of the setting that it's in, and sort of a cushion cut. So it's a little bit of a square, but with the edges rounded off, the corners rounded off. So it's overall more of a circular shape, red within blue. You can also see that with the little roses on the trim of his, I guess that's an inner shirt vest there. So it could be either like a mirror or a rose. So yeah, that's red within blue. Another Goethe. William Taft. He was another kind of a harder one to find, red within blue. And this is sort of like a bluish slate gray, charcoal gray. It's more of a blue tone to it than a warm tone to it. It's a cool tone. And J. Edgar Hoover, the bluish slate gray over that red book there. You see how they use props sometimes. I suspect there's also something to this spiral we see, the diagonal stripes going down the ties we see in a lot of these photos, so making sort of a spiral. It's because sort of like down here, the material world, down within all things, down within the light, you could say, is everything here is based on spirals. Your DNA is spiraled. I said this in other videos. So, if you think about it, there's, your fingerprints are spiraled. Spirals are built into everything, at least down in the physical existence. So that it could very well be a symbol of that. The spiral, that seems to be this spiral sort of stripe that is worn down a lot of the ties that these dudes wear. So, Gene Autry, cowboy, red within blue. Note the white hat up top too. Alexander Pope, blue over red. Looks like Macaulay Culkin. Oscar Wilde. Now here's one that you might say, because I mean it's sort of a black and white that's been recolored and touched up. You could say it's more of a gray pink, but showing this as an example also of how it can be displayed as like a red or pink rose or flower that's pinned into sort of either a black or blue or dark slate gray, bluish gray coat, jacket. And then note down here also, it looks like that's either a scarf or that's the lining, the inside lining of the coat or jacket. That's another way that they can do this, is to have a red lining or pink lining. So again, this could either be gray and pink, those are significant opposites, or the red and blue. But that's one way that I see this is maybe like a bluish jacket, bluish blackish jacket on the outside, but with a red lining on the inside. So that's red under blue, blue over red. So Oscar Wilde, Freemason. Again, these guys are all listed as Freemasons. Frederick the Sixth of Denmark. Come on, Frederica. Blue over red. Freemason. Frederick the Fifth of Denmark. Got a couple of Fredericks here. Blue over red. Farouk of Egypt. So you can see he's got this blue sky background and then that very brilliant bright red hat on the top. I'm going to look. I know some about the regalia. I need to learn more about all the stuff that they wear. Like I said, there's only so much time in the day. Tufik Pasha. I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly. There we go. Another blue background with a bright red hat. So red within blue. But then you can also see down here is blue within red. And red within blue within yellow. These are all, but then also note how many points are on the stars. 8. This is all significant. And unfortunately, the general population doesn't pay attention to this stuff. But you should. Oh, here we go. George the Sixth. King George the Sixth. This is a lot of blue over red. So first of all, he's got that little red dress on. It's cute. But he's got that blue robe over top of it. So blue over red there. But then also note the blue background. The wall in the background. The blue kind of blue-gray. I guess mortar, pavement, whatever. But then he's standing on a red rug. So this is a lot of blue over red in this painting. Old King George the Sixth. All these guys are listed as Freemasons. Amadeo, the First of Spain, blue over red. William I, German Emperor, blue over red. And this is sort of like, you could say this is sort of how Valenti was, flashing his gang colors. Was he had bright red cherry gloves, so he had them, like the red was down by his hands, and then he had a bright blue hoodie sticking out of a gray sweatshirt. So you could see the bright blue hood up around his neck. So it was kind of like a blue sash, and like the red cuffs around the wrists there. It really is like, yeah, so blue hoodie over cherry red gloves. Again, not a typical color combination to wear. It's just not. Jesse Jackson, guys. Yep. He was He was a Freemason. I don't know, is he still around? Is he still kicking? And those little, and it's sort of a little bit of a circular blob shape. I mean, it could have been folded or whatever in all kinds of ways, but it looks kind of like a little rose, like a little circular rose shape. And spiral, see the spiral down the center there. There we go. And Richard Pryor, guys. Yep, he was a Freemason. Blue over red shoes, blue suit, and red smock sort of sash tie down the center there. Clark Gable, very young Clark Gable, also Freemason. Stripes, spirals, red within blue. Old Clarky. When is that mustache going to come in, dude? Don Rickles. Red within blue, within gray. That light blue. Charles Lindbergh. Red within that sort of a blue, slate blue, gray. All Freemasons, all listed as Freemasons. Francis I, Holy Roman Emperor. Very striking, like flare of red coming out of that blue-green. And let's see. Another one of Francis I, Holy Roman Emperor. Although, is this the same dude? I guess not. Blue hat, red pillow down below. And he's wearing a lot of blue in his outfit here, and he's standing in front of the red pillow, blue over red there. And it does look like maybe up top here you see the red, there's sort of a red over his chest, but it's under everything else. It's under the blue gold, and it's under this sort of white doily lace frock he's got, the bib that he has on. Okay, Mr. Man Baby. Mr. Baby Monster. Here's your bib. Yeah, no, it's your pretty bib. King Kalakaua. I don't know. I guess is that close at least? Of Hawaii. Freemason. 8-pointed star right there. Blue over red. Frederick III, German Emperor. Blue over red. Eugene de blah, blah, blah. I don't give a crap. Whatever his name is. Blue over red. Notice the stars. This dude's 6-pointed and you could say 5-pointed or you could say 10-pointed because there's sort of 2 points to each. Pedro the First of Brazil. Blue over red. Almost done, I think. Just about. Oh, we have an important one coming up. Leopold the First of Belgium. Red coming out of the blue. King Christian of Denmark. I think he was kind of high up in the lodge. He was like a Grand Master or something like that. And this is his some of his Masonic regalia type, his get-up. William Hogarth. He's an important one coming up. That I'm showing because his name's going to pop up more. He was a painter. He painted a lot of scenes involving royalty and sort of more highborn peoples, and left a lot of little hints and clues and secrets in those paintings. Little private hints. He was a Freemason, as I believe was also his father-in-law, a Freemason. And you can see sort of that bit of red there and the blue in the frock, the bib. he's got going on. Also, he's referenced by some of my suspects in their blogs and things in certain ways. So he's going to come up again. And he was his paintings were considered to be very lewd back in the day when he made them. A lot of them were considered very controversial. So I'm going to hold off on Peter Sellers real quick. I'm going to save that to the last because it's a video. It's another video. And I've noticed that when I try to sort of record and then play a video, this throws off the audio. So we'll see what happens. All right. I'm just going to go down some more of these real quick, and then I'll come back up to Peter Sellers. All right. Buzz Aldrin. Let's do some astronauts. So we've got that light blue t-shirt. Also notice the silver gray jacket on the outside. And the bright red circular logo hovering within the blue. Virgil Grissom was also an astronaut. I don't have a picture of him because I thought this was a little bit more funny. This is a middle school named after him, and this is the team of little girls there. This is one of their, I guess it's softball that they play. This is one of their, softball or soccer or something. This is their outfit, their uniform, blue or red. Virgil Grissom. Gordon Cooper, astronaut, red within that silvery bluish. And then there's the blue on the background there. It's a circular red. I mean, think about it. The inside of that could have been any color. It could have been orange. It could have been yellow, gold. It could have been white. It could have been black. It could have been green. Instead, they made it bright red. And is it even really part of the suit, or they just, stuff a red scarf down in there? Yeah, so Simon Bolivar, blue over red. He's got the red lining on the inside of his blue cape. The outside of the cape is blue, and it's covering more. So the red is sort of, this red sort of breastplate here is sort of within a bigger blue jacket, I guess, army jacket. Henry Ford, bit of blue over red, and that's a versatile outfit because he can switch it up as he pleases. Then he can put his hat on and have red over blue, and then take it off and have blue over red. Tricky, Henry. King Gillette, entrepreneur. This one's a little bit harder to make out. And would have sort of also been up to the artist, but they do tend to employ artists that are in their little boy group. So this one, you can see the red, the tie has a reddish hue, more of a reddish hue, and then it looks to me like the blue blackish. The suit itself is more of a bluish hue. So red within blue there. This one is an Astor. She's Pauline Astor. So John Jacob Astor, I believe, was the one who was he's a Freemason. I don't know that if she was in an order or anything of that sort, but I've also noticed at least that family members, if you have sort of very big name Freemasons and have portraits and such of family members or pictures of them all going out somewhere or eating out or whatever, you can see the family members often will adhere to the same color scheme. So a little ball, sort of roundish ball of red there within this light silvery blue and white. So there's an example. There's John Jacob Astor. Now, this looks like it could be more of a red, blue within red, because the background's more of a reddish, and he's wearing more of a bluish tone. I have to look and see if there's more to this painting. Sometimes they cut it off, and there's way more down at the bottom. Sometimes the red is on the heels of the shoe and such. That you see that in one of Hogarth's paintings. But again, overall, blue and red worn together aren't typical. But this is also to give you an idea of some of the different combinations of how they would wear this. And again, why not, I don't know, purple flower there? Why not a yellow flower? All kinds of different color flowers. Walter Chrysler. Here's a red over blue. Andrew Mellon. Here's something I left up to remind me of. I'm going to do another one that goes more into sort of the silver gray and pink combination, because you see that pop up a bit here and there too. This is, I believe this is another Aster. Yep, Mrs. Waldorf Aster. So yeah, and let's finish it up with the Peter Sellers video.
I'm fed up with this church of centenary. With all them stamps, what is the plaques and cups
I'm
and
going to
knives
fast forward
and
a little
forks?
bit through his
With this
from
church
the
of
left
faith on
here
them.
and to the part where he starts taking his clothes off. And there he had a red scarf in his pocket. He takes it out, he puts it down. Here you can see an example of red lining within a darker jacket, sort of a bluish blackish jacket. He's wearing a blue denim outfit, and now he's making a red downward pointing triangle.
There is nothing in it, yeah? No, look.
For the red. Now it's red over
My head is in the handkerchief.
blue. And then he's going to make a red square with the handkerchief. And now he's going to throw the red sash down. He already threw the first bit of red with the line down, and now he's made a blue over red.
You became,
and
in
notice
fact,
the
of course, first of all,
overall
before you
tone
became
of
an
the
actor,
entire
you became a
setup.
musician,
Remember that
didn't you? You were a drummer.
Remember that the video, that the whole set here itself has been designed for television. They design these things in certain ways, and the background is either neutral behind them or there's blue above as well. And right here, I just want to play a little bit more and show you. There's an interesting part he gets into where he immediately launches into how Peter Sellers was a musician before he became an actor. And that's a pattern I see. Oh, of course. There we go. A lot with these dudes. Because remember, I'm focusing on...
You became, in fact, of course, first of all, before you became an actor, you became a musician, didn't you? You were a drummer of some note.
Oh, you remember that?
Yes, I remember that. What, in fact, made you give up music? I mean, why did you decide to jack that in and go finally onto stage?
Well, it's a very dreary business being a drummer or any musician doing gigs, really, around the country.
Yeah,
because you get a lot of hooray harrys who come up to you.
I don't really want to hear anymore, but it's just to kind of make the point there in this very old interview, 1974 interview, that Peter Sellers was a musician, had to go at being a musician for a while before he became a well-known actor, sort of more comical actor. And that's a pattern I see with quite a few of my suspects. They get into music first for a bit, and then they'll get into some other kind of content media creation that typically involves their face talking at a screen. So, yeah, so, but you guys got the whole deal there with the, the red frock and all that. That's all very significant. Him making the downward pointing triangle, and the square at the end, and throwing it on the ground beneath him, and he's wearing that blue get-up suit, and there's also the blue tones in the background. Yeah. So, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully this video will come through. The audio is getting thrown off a bit when I'm uploading it to YouTube. I'm trying to figure that out. I think it might have something to do with recording one part of some of these videos with my voice over them, but then switching over to recording an audio track from some video that I'm playing or something like that. So learning process. We'll get there. But yeah, so hopefully this is a good video. And I might make more. There's a good chance I'll make more red and blue videos because this trend pops up in a couple of other places, at least, particularly with religious paintings, religious imagery, the blue and the red. So I'll very likely be making another video that points out more blue and red combinations. And then also definitely making more videos talking about getting into more detail about the significance of the blue and the red. And how it relates to how color and light work, which I already released that video on at least a few of my YouTube channels. All right. I'm going to end this one now so I'm not prattling on. All right. Goodbye.